All right, I'm going to go over the My Econ Lab, this quiz 2, or no, excuse me, homework 2 in My Econ Lab. Quiz 2 you can do on your own. It's basically similar questions to the homework. Check with the textbook. It's not that hard. So let's see. Let's do this first one. So this is a production possibility curve on this one. And again, it goes back to the theory that economics is about choices that we make, right? What should we produce? So here we got a choice of tons of steels per year, or tons of wheat per year. Again, if we have a trade-off, if we put our resources in creating steel instead of wheat, what's the trade-off for each? So look at opportunity cost in the textbook for chapter 2. It will come back on the midterm. This will be exactly one of these questions will be on the midterm. It's really simple, right? Between points B and C, again, we can, at point B, we're producing 670 tons of steel and 30 tons of wheat. At point C, this choice, we could do 600 tons of steel and 40 tons of wheat. So again, between point B and C, the opportunity cost of tons of wheat is what? Well, if we go from B to C, there's a 10-ton difference there, right? It's not that hard of a math. I'm gonna check my answer, fine. And then it's going to be obviously the tons of wheat. What's the opportunity cost for the tons of wheat if I go from B to C? So we go from 670 to 600. It's minus 70, but they say here use a positive number, so 70 tons of wheat. And again, looking at choices, it's the classic production possibility curve, PPC. Fine. Again, this will come back on the test. Number 2, this is looking at opportunity cost. Again, we get a choice of keeping money in the bank and taking it out once a month, or for a big ATM withdrawal, or taking out ATM withdrawals every day. So Carlos here, he lives in a country where interest rates are very high. Right? Interest rates are high. You can keep your money in the bank and make interest off that money. So Carlos goes to the ATM every day to get $10 because he wants to keep his money in the bank. There's more opportunity benefits keeping the money in the bank for Carlos instead of taking it out. Art, who lives in a country with relatively low interest rates, goes to the ATM once a month to get $300 of spending money because, again, it doesn't pay to keep his money in the bank. It's probably more expensive for those, again, daily charges for getting money out. So why does Carlos use the ATM more frequently, right? Because he has more opportunity, basically, cost of holding cash. So Carlos' opportunity cost of holding cash is higher. Look at opportunity. We're going to come back to this with another question. So, yeah, check my answer. Great. It's right in the textbook. It's fairly easy to understand. So here again, this question is looking at margins again. A taxi company currently has 9 cabs in the fleet. Total cost of $4,750. Fine. If a cab adds a 10th cab, one more cab, marginally adding 1 cab to it, the company's total daily cost will increase to $4,950. What? That's a $200, right, cost increase. But its revenue will increase to $250. So the cost is $200, but the revenue will increase to $250. Of course, they should add the 10th cab because they're making more revenue on this one. Again, looking at things on the margins, right? Take a look at the definition of the textbook for marginal. We'll see it all over this semester. Fine, yeah. Just what I said. Let's see, number 4. Oh, again, here looking at marginal thing, and again, this is for people that have that. What is that? It's in today's paper. People working in real estate, and you get your on-call scheduling, because GAP today is in the paper. GAP is going to phase out its on-call scheduling of employees because it makes sense for a company to decide quickly if it needs workers for one day. If they had a few more workers, they could make more marginal revenue than the marginal cost of a worker. And they make that decision quickly, just that again, call-in stuff, which a lot of people hate, which I would hate too. But here, looking at Ted, again, Ted's working at Molly's Espresso Shop, right? So if Ted goes in for 1 hour's worth of work, right? The espressos he sells, right? Because Ted's not selling any espressos at zero, but with 1 hour, Ted comes in, he has the benefit of selling 30 more espressos. So that's each espresso is $2 a pop, as it says right up here at the top. So he brings in $60 of additional revenue, and he's only $11 an hour. So yeah, Ted should work that 1 hour. If he works for 2 hours, notice again, it goes from 130 espressos sold to 154, right? It's not an increase of 30 from like 0 to 1. It's only a 24 espresso increase. So that's a $48, because again, each espresso is $2, right? Again, 130 to 154 is 24 more espressos sold if Ted works that second hour. So he's bringing in $48 of revenue. Again, way beats his $11 cost, right? Again, looking at the margins. So here, let's go at number 4 here. Well, first, this first one is easy. It's $11, right? Of course, he's making $11 the whole time. So, but for the 4th hour, let's see if it makes sense for Ted to work the 4th hour. Should Molly keep him on, right? So it goes from 172, which is what was sold at 3, right, to 184. That's a $12 more espressos sold that Ted would bring in. So again, 12 times 2 is 24, right? So that's the answer on this one. Great. Let me check my answers. Perfect. So this last question is, if Molly applies the marginal principles, how many hours should Ted work? So if you take a look, if he works for 6 hours, he would bring in basically 3 more espressos sold, and it would only have the marginal revenue of $6. Then his cost for that 6th hour is higher than the revenues. So at the 5th hour, again, he's bringing in $12 of marginal benefit, and the cost is only $11. So again, 5 hours is what Ted should work, right? That is the optimal time. And again, this is what these large companies like Gap will look at: the number of workers. How many workers do I need? And then what's the, again, marginal benefit for today's volume? How many do I need? All right. Have you ever wondered how they figured this stuff out? They look at the past data and come up with how much they need. They look at the marginal, again, benefit versus the marginal cost. Yeah. Okay, great. Let me zoom around here now. Now this is looking at minimum wage, right? Minimum wage in 1974 was $2 an hour, right? I remember that really well. In 2011, it was $7.25 an hour. Wow, what a big difference. But again, what you have to do is you have to look at inflation. How much this stuff cost back in 74, and how much things cost now. So if we look at the same basket, standard basket of goods, right, was $47 in 74. In 2011, it's $225. So if we do a little math here, the number of baskets per week you could buy would be 1.7 in 1974. In 2011, 1.29. So you can't buy as much stuff, right? The things that matter, because you want to buy crap in 2011. So yeah, was the typical minimum wage better off in 2011? No, they were not. Fine. And again, this is a big question today. Should we raise minimum wage? And there is a choice politicians are making. Again, we elect politicians, so it's our choice too. Should we raise minimum wage and then peg it to inflation so this doesn't happen in the future? That is a proposal that's up nowadays. If you want to see that pass, I would vote Democratic. But anyway, consider the choice to attend college or work upon graduation. Again, here's the classic choice, right? We're looking at the choice of college or work. And of course, you got to look at the opportunity costs, right? the opportunity benefits, the opportunity cost of attending college. So which one is not an opportunity cost or really opportunity benefit of attending college? So the money spent on food and living is basically what we would do no matter what, right? You got to eat if you go to work after high school, or if you go to college after high school. You got to spend on living expenses in both places. What's an opportunity cost is the money spent on tuition, right? You're putting money into tuition that you would normally not do if you did work after high school. Same thing with the money you would earn after 4 years of could have earned 4 years of working. That is one of those opportunity benefits you could have gotten, but you made the choice to go to college, right? Again, money spent on books is the choice you make to go to college. So that is an opportunity cost. But again, there is no choice. You have to eat, right? People miss this all the time. It's going to come back on the midterm. It drives me crazy when people miss it, but that's okay. I'll try to get over it. Number 7, all decisions are trade-off associated with them, right? Why we have to make trade-off? Because there's scarcity. That's an easy one. Dun, 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 dun. Let me go to number 8. Suppose stricter emission standards would reduce healthcare costs by $60 million, right? And again, this is an issue today, right? Should we cut back on coal-burning plants? Coal-burning plants, they give us electricity, do cause asthma, and it has a health effect, health cost with it, right? The hard part is bringing up the actual health cost of it. But here they're telling us $60 million. That's so nice. But of course, if we have those stricter emission standards, basically electricity is going to go up. The emissions equipment to make things cleaner goes up by $40 million, right? But here again, if it's the cost is $60 million in health, and the cost of putting in those new emission standards are only $40 million. Of course, we want to tighten emission standards, right? But again, this is too simple of a thing. This is very different. Again, it depends where you live. If you live in Kentucky, where your economy is based on coal, mining coal and coal-burning plants, you look at this a lot differently than if you live in Connecticut, where you're downwind from a lot of these coal plants. Number 9, here a little graph, right? This is a silly one. It's a little trying to teach you a little self-ethics here in a way with these graphs. So Duke here is driving to a nearby town to attend a dance party. They must decide how fast to drive, right? Here is your ethical question. The marginal benefit of the speed is an extra time dance he will get by driving fast. Wow. So if he goes fast, he gets more time to dance. The marginal cost, of course, is the additional risk of a collision. The marginal benefit curve is negatively sloped, right? And the marginal cost curve is positively sloped. So I'm going to do the marginal benefit curve first. It's negatively sloped. The line, use the line drawing tool twice to draw and label the two lines that suggests Duke will drive at 40 miles an hour. So I want to intersect both things at 40 miles an hour. Again, the marginal, which one? The marginal benefit curve is negatively sloped. Let me draw that one first. So I'm going to start, I think around 80 should do it. If I go down through 40, down to my speed, there is my marginal benefit. Let me do my marginal cost, which is upward sloping. I'm going to start at 0 and just go up someplace here. Make sure I intersect at 40 though. This is my marginal cost. And then number 2, use the point drawing tool to label the equilibrium where both meet. Right there. And this is my E for equilibrium. Let me check my answer. Great, nice work. So he should be driving theoretically at, what is he driving? The speed 30 miles an hour, and he gets 40, the marginal benefit, more time dancing. A very interesting question, but a little practice with the line drawing tool. All right, so try this out. The quiz 2 is basically the same sort of question, so I'm not going to go through that one. I think there's one extra question, but look in the textbook has the answer. And only 2 people have signed up for my econ lab so far. It is, what is today? Thursday, August, what, 27th? I may have to move up these homeworks that are due next week because no one's buying my econ lab. So let's get this stuff done. It's not that hard. Thanks for your time.